Hello everyone and welcome back to another Unplayable podcast review of Day 3 here at Granada National Stadium. Another fascinating day of Test cricket. I'm joined again by Adam White, who is over here commentating for SEN Radio. Whitey, another cracking day.
Good to be with you again. Obviously I did well enough yesterday to be asked back, so thank you for that. No, look, it had the fear of being a really frustrating day where not a lot happened because the weather was really dicey. There'd been a lot of rain overnight. Even coming to the ground, the roads were wet and you kind of thought, how much play are we going to have? Amazingly, we started pretty much on time and then the rain started. So we had 3 breaks across the course of the day. 2 were about 45 minutes each, and then we had another one that didn't last as long as we thought it was going to last. So in the end, we got a fair bit of cricket, and the cricket we did get was absorbing throughout the course of the day. There's a lot of talking points, but generally speaking, I thought the West Indians bowled well. It looked at one point that they'd lost it and that Australia were going to race away with the game, but they came back in and the Australians had to work really hard for their runs.
In between those rain delays, as you mentioned, some great batting by Steve Smith and Cameron Green, who for the first time in the series we saw bat sort of dominate ball for a little period there. So both of those got half centuries. Australia 7 for 221, leading by 254 heading into Day 4. So it's set up for an intriguing game.
It is. You'd think that Australia have got enough now based on how the pitch is playing because it's become a lot up and down. But the way the West Indians bat, you're never too sure. You never feel like, I think you'd never feel like you had enough. But I think Cameron Green today, we talked about it last night, we were both really hoping that he'd do well, like so many Australian cricket fans and Cameron Green himself and selectors. But the way he did it today, I thought was tremendous. Faced well over 100 balls. A lot of stop-starts with the rain that we were talking about. He got through last night, which is a big tick, but then again today did a lot of tough work and didn't let the West Indies get any momentum into their bowling innings. That's what you want from the number 3. We know that he's got all the shots, but today he really had to grind hard, and I thought, it was a shame that he got out the ball after he reached 50, but I think it was a big tick.
You could see the frustration too at the ball after he got out. He even dropped his bat.
Dropped or threw?
Well, I think he accidentally slipped out of his hand.
It was like the tennis player when he slammed it down. Yes. I felt like that. I had a pen, I slammed it down just out of frustration because, we all want him to do so well because not only is he a really nice guy, but he's a great cricketer to watch when he's at full flight. And Australia really need him to become the player we all want him to become.
Is that your moment of the day for today?
I think so. I mean, look, you can talk about Steve Smith, but he does it all the time. I think we all were barracking hard for one of the younger players, less experienced players on this tour to stand up. Now, I know it's only 50, but definitely it was a big tick, a step in the right direction, certainly my moment of the day.
Well, you mentioned Steve Smith. It was a masterful innings. 71 he got in the end, but he looked like he was batting on a different surface, didn't he?
He did. And, we all turned up here on Monday anxious to see him batting the nets, to see how he'd go, wondering whether he'd be able to hold the bat and all these sorts of things. We went out there, he looked like he'd never left. I don't know what he was doing in New York, but it was certainly working because it was the Steve Smith that we fully expect to see every time he goes out to bat. He set such a high bar. But what I liked today was that he made adjustments to his technique very early. Once he saw what the pitch was doing, he got one early that really flew through, then a couple that kept low. He made adjustments on the run and batted to the circumstances, batted to the conditions, which, he's one of the best players in the world. You expect that, but the way he was able to do it so quickly to make those adjustments was a feature of his innings.
He even walked at the bowler at one point as well, Justin Graves, and you don't really see that a lot from Steve Smith, do you?
There's one thing that he did do that was a little bit unusual. He was given out LBW because the ball hit him on the pad, and he asked the umpire, "How have I been given out?" I think that's what he did. I know Steve never likes going out. I never like going out. My kids never like going out. They'll do whatever they can to stay out there. But Steve, you got hit on the pad. I think we all knew it was LBW.
Well, did you see the one before the appeal of Jayden Seales and actually pointed his bat at the umpire and told all the West Indies players, I've hit that.
Oh, no, he's doing that and he's doing this one too high and down leg, all these sorts of things. He may as well be the umpire and the player.
Best spell, do you think, for today?
I think Justin Greaves, when he came back after tea to get the wickets of Smith and Webster in quick succession, as I said, just when it looked like it was getting away, I thought that was really impressive. He doesn't have all the bells and whistles of Shamar Joseph or maybe even Alzarri Joseph, but I like the way that he was able to bring the West Indies back into the game with just smart, clever, wily sort of bowling.
I might give a special mention to Shamar Joseph as well. That wicket of Travis Head at the end there was huge, especially with him in the sheds going into Day 4. It means that caps that lead a little bit that they can get.
But I agree with you, but doesn't it show the West Indies are building a good complement of bowlers? They all do something a little bit different, and they all do contribute, which I think is, they're certainly a lot better than I thought they'd be with the ball through this series to this point.
Yeah, they just need some batting to sort of step up
do.
like Australia's has. Any controversy today, do you think?
Controversy? Not really.
There
I
was
don't
a
think
ball
so.
change there that sort of led to that Smith
Yeah,
dismissal.
the ball definitely, when they changed, it definitely did a little bit more. No, I just go back to Steve Smith. It wasn't controversial. It was probably what Steve Smith does, doesn't it? I do find it quite funny. Someone's played all the cricket he has, that he was asking what he was giving out.
Was quite comical, wasn't it? Yeah. But he has all those mannerisms, doesn't he?
I know.
That's why we love him so much.
Did you feel that he was a bit like he was on steroids today with those mannerisms, those idiosyncrasies? It felt like after missing the first test, missing out in the first innings here, he was so souped up to do well. He really strode to the wicket, but all those mannerisms were just a little bit more easy to see.
I did notice that they were back. Like I noticed him flicking the pads, his helmet, all the bat, all that kind of stuff. And I think potentially the conditions led to that as well, because you had to be so focused on that pitch where you got balls dying underneath your bat at some points. Some balls rising a little bit. So I think that's all part of his method to get in the zone.
Yeah, that's exactly right. I think that's part of it. It's just getting him in that zone. That you're right.
And I did see a Adelaide Crows jersey again on
the
broadcast.
Was that one
today.
of those alternate strip ones?
I think they had like the Crow.
Yeah. I saw a Parramatta Eels, one of the old ones with a James Hardy across the front, which was a good one. But my kit was, did you see what was going on at lunch with the parade?
I had my head down working.
It was like a masquerade type of parade where there was locals on stilts. There was locals wearing some very unusual things. They looked like they were a beekeeper with a thing over their faces. There was some strange things going on, but it's part of their masquerade parade, I was told.
I'm very
cultural type of activity there for me. I'm quite impressed I knew that.
Well done. I'm surprised I haven't seen a South Sydney jersey yet. Rabbitohs.
The Rabbitohs.
Yeah, they're everywhere.
Well, we've seen the Patrick Cripps banner for the Carlton fans.
Yes,
that was up there on days 1 and 2. But yes, we've definitely seen more AFL jumpers than we have NRL jerseys to this point. We're still early in the tour.
Yeah,
about
a test
halfway
to go
through.
and some T20s. Anything unexpected or that you didn't see coming? I've got sort of one forward to throw at you. I think that the light felt like it's still pretty light here at the end of the day.
I thought it was probably the other way around. I was surprised that they were at least allowed to have the fast bowlers bowl as late in the day as they did. I think probably for me the surprise of the day was probably that we played as much cricket as we did. They do the covers rather quickly. Yeah. It's not quite as I'm not going to say not quite as professional as what they do in Australia, but they seem to have a more sort of specific method in Australia than here, where they just grab a corner and they come.
It's a bit like club cricket.
Yes, that's probably fair enough.
There's no tractors or anything here, but
no tractors, no Hessian. They just bring them out.
I must say their local knowledge is quite good though, because once it started raining in that first break, they were out there ready to go straight away. They had the covers coming on as the umpires were calling, time to go in.
Now, I'm a lot older than you, but do you remember the famous curator from Brisbane who used to run out on the ground with a tractor before it rained at the Gabba?
I have seen like the sprint races out there to get
Kevin Mitchell was the man. He used to have the local knowledge, and it didn't feel like it was even close to rain. He'd come out and say, "Get off, there's a thunderstorm coming." He used to have control over the umpires back in the day.
Any funny moments that you...
Did you see the dogs came back at the end of the day?
Did they? I missed that. They
got up in the grandstands this time. So you also saw, and I'd be really interested to know, you know the players well, you should work this out. At T, did you see Steve Smith sprint off and then Travis Head sprint off not long after? Is it to get in the shower and get new clothes on and all that sort of thing because they've only got 20 minutes? I've never seen that before. They really ran off the ground fast.
Potentially could be the case because, as we mentioned yesterday, the pace bowlers were constantly swapping their whites. So, as you say, they've only got 20 minutes, and it was quite a late tea break as well because of the rain.
Yes, and it was the hottest day today, I think.
Yeah, it's quite muggy sitting up here in the stands. We're in the open air.
A bit more
press
oppressive
box.
than other days.
Yeah. Not so many blunders or clangers today, but I have got one for you that the West Indies caught quite well, I thought.
They did.
For the first time in the series.
They did. They tried really hard to drop that first one. It almost went down. Was it? Who was it? It was John Campbell.
Yeah.
He's like just catch it there, mate. He's tried to jump and sort of caught it one-handed. He tried as hard as he could to drop it, but he caught it.
Well, he was the one that dropped the dolly at
was.
Cub on day
Yeah,
one.
he
So
was.
yeah, massive improvement for the West Indies. And before we let you go, Whitey, again, with the light fading, the most important question I've got for you is the lunch review for today. What did you have
Yeah, it
and
was
what did you
okay.
enjoy?
Well, I was disappointed that the rock cakes didn't come back for day 3. And the passion fruit juice wasn't there either. So that's the 2 crosses. But the chicken, we get chicken every day.
Chicken
They're
and rice
chicken
every
legs
day,
every
yeah.
day. Honey chicken with a bit of sesame seed, whatever it was on top. That was all right.
It was, yeah,
Yeah.
just staples, chicken and rice, and does the job.
And the cake, what was that cake? Was that banana cake or?
I think it was banana cake, but I missed
Yeah.
out. I was too late
you?
to get in there. So I
Yeah,
have to
probably
be
because I
quicker-
had about 10
quicker
pieces
tomorrow.
and you missed out. Sorry.
All right, so you heard it here. More rock cakes tomorrow, please, as
Absolutely, definitely.
Australia resume their innings, looking to build, a sizable lead, and one that potentially the West Indies might find too hard to chase.
I think they've probably got enough now, but I'm sure they're thinking 300 plus and then let the bowlers do what they often do and win it in the 4th innings.
So thanks very much for listening again, and we'll see you back here tomorrow for the day 4 recap.